Fuze needs a nerf. I'm done with this conversation. It's over. Fuze come up on the scene, just roll up. He detonates that cluster charge, and it's over. I'm talking about nuclear bombs. He just drops them right in your butt crack. It's over, soldier. And to be quite frank, I've had enough. I'll get on the Rainbow Six subreddit, and people will be talking about it. Ubisoft hasn't really acknowledged that it's a priority, but I feel like a fix is coming soon. I feel like it's something they can't ignore forever. Sooner or later, they're gonna have to stop being little bitches. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Ubisoft, and fix Fuze. And while we're on the topic, let's go ahead and talk about this Jaeger buff. Everybody knows Jaeger needs a buff. Either that or Fuze needs a nerf. It's happening one way or the other. Get this. And I know this has happened to you before. You have a Jaeger. Fuze comes in swerving and derving off of Versace skyscrapers. Pounces down right in the D-town. Rolls up with that cluster charge, and everybody's done. I'm talking about Hiroshima nuke, right? Since Jaeger is Fuze's direct counter, it would make a lot of sense if Jaeger could actually stop Fuze, you know? Because I think this whole equation here, what it comes down to, what it boils down to, is Fuze and Jaeger needing to be balanced. I think that's something we can all agree with, because right now this man is just dropping nukes. I'm talking about he doesn't even need 25 kills. He just rolls up on the scene and just drops it. He shows your booty crack no mercy. Every time you hear that Fuze charge going off, it's inevitable. It's over. I don't care if you're across the entire map. You are getting destroyed. But see, Jaeger should roll up on the scene and have a little something to do with that. But here's the problem with that. I mean, Fuze is making my booty hole sting. But Jaeger should be helping me out. Jaeger should show up with that damn Charmin Ultra Strong. I'm talking about he should have double the absorption of them cluster charges. It only makes sense. Think about this. Write this equation down real quick, right? Jaeger has 3 ADS systems. Fuze has 3 cluster charges. It would make a lot of sense if one ADS system could stop 1 cluster charge. A lot of people will think this is really overpowered, because then Fuze wouldn't have a chance. Fuze is going to be the next Nerf beard. If one ADS system is the equivalent to a cluster charge, then that would mean that Jaeger would be completely Charmin Ultra Strong and Fuze. I'm talking about shutting them out. Lights out. Game over. But isn't that what a direct counter is supposed to do? You think about the Bandit trick. When he stops Thermite, he doesn't partially stop Thermite. He stops him. That man ain't getting in. Entry denied. But you see, he can't stop him partially. He's not going to blow like half the hole, right? This man isn't going to blow a little Habana hole. So, in theory, it would make sense for Jaeger to stop Fuze as his direct counter. But see, right now, Jaeger's taking 2 ADSs to stop a cluster charge. I'm not really sure what it is, but I know in fact that Fuze destroys those ADS systems. I ain't got no stats on it. I'm not trying to show you no sheet. All I know is, you put down an ADS system, you're still not going to be safe from that cluster charge. That's the problem. A lot of people would just like it toned down a bit. Say an ADS system stops a few of those hockey pucks, but 1, maybe 2 get by. But you see, the problem with that is if you really think about it, Jaeger is Fuze's direct counter, which means he should be able to directly counter him. He shouldn't be able to partially counter him. That ADS system, if put in the right spot and not taken out by the enemy team, should be able to deal out as much defense as that cluster charge dishes out attacks. If he sends 1, we send 1. Game over. That's how it works. That's how it should be. Anyways, I really think this should be more of a priority for Rainbow Six. I think they're tripping out there. I don't know. I think it's something that needs to be fixed. Now, if you ask me if I want it to do partial the defense or entirely stop a cluster charge, I'm not too sure about that, but I know in fact that it should be balanced out a little bit more, and I think that's something we can all agree on. I will see you on the next video. This is Mr. Nasty with 2 eyes, signing out.